So dear participants, in the first session, you all are provided about an overview about what we mean by evaluation, what is the concept and characteristics of a good evaluation. So in this particular session, the discussion will be on development of a rubric. So there are many platforms nowadays available with all of us that help us to design a rubric. So number of softwares are available with us, but it is compulsory as a faculty to know that what need to be the standard evaluation criteria when it comes to the development of a rubric. It is not only that you are going to define a scale or defining a layout or dimension of that particular rubric sheet, but depending upon the type of the activity you have selected for your evaluation, what type of rubric need to be there and how the teacher is going to define the scale of the rubric and the different dimensions of any of the activity. So in this particular session, the discussion will be on the concept of rubric and importance for evaluating the student performance. What are the different types of rubrics available with us? The design scheme for the formation of rubric and what are the different things that at departmental level we need to consider when it comes to design a rubric. So in a last session might be you are aware with this particular term, that is assessment. Assessment is again a Latin verb. The meaning of this verb is, the meaning of this particular word is to sit with. So why we assess our student? The basic purpose of assessment is to process of gathering information on student learning. So in a technical education system, we have two different types of evaluation with us. That is a continuous assessment, or we can say internal assessment of our student, and then summative evaluation of our student. So when I said I am assessing my student, it is not compulsory that I am evaluating them. Assessment and evaluation are two different terms. Assessment is on continuous basis. As a teacher, when I am asking questions to my student in a classroom situation, at that time also I am assessing to my student. When I am asking my student that is there any doubt at their part, in that case also I am assessing the performance of my student. So in case of assessment, I am not comparing the score or the marks obtained by one student by the rest of the class. So assessment means I am collecting information on a continuous basis that help me to design my instructional strategy in an effective manner so that as a faculty, it is possible for me to develop understanding level of my student related to that subject matter. So in any situation, when you gather information regarding the performance of the student, regarding what kind of learning is taking place in your classroom situation, you are assessing your student. So for assessment, it is not compulsory for all of us to go for a paper and pen type of a test. By asking simple questions also, it is possible for me to assess my student. Another is by observing the nonverbal behavior of my student also, it is possible for me to know that whether they are able to understand me or not. So this is the basic purpose of assessment. Now my first question to all of you is how we gather information. So by definition, I said process of gathering information on student learning. So my first question for today's session to all of you is how you gather information for assessment. Any participant from the group can reply.
Ma'am, could you please repeat your question once again?
My question is how you gather information. So as per the definition, assessment is the process of gathering information on student learning. So my question to all of you is how we gather information on student learning.
Their class participation, their like performance in internal evaluation, midterm exams, external exams.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any another member who would like to add something? You can also write in a chat box. Ask questions on subject. Fine. Through their assignments, class performance and internal examination, quizzes can be conducted. So thank you very much for your active participation. So when it comes to gather information specifically for a student performance, as rightly added by all of you is, we administer a test. That test can be in the form of quiz. That test can be the descriptive type of test or open or closed type of questions that we used for our class student. So any type of a test that is conducted for a student, that is developed by a teacher by considering all the standardized conditions. So I'm not going into the details of that, how it is possible for us to consider the standardized condition of a written test. So any test that is being conducted by you for your student, maybe by the use of any platform, like you said, quizzes are there, polls are there, even through the assignments also, you are able to assess the performance of your student. In a classroom situation, when you are asking questions to your student, at that time also we are gathering information about the performance of the student. There are number of teaching strategies also by the use of which it is possible for me to gather information about student performance. Say for example, in my session we have discussed cooperative and collaborative learning strategies. Say for example, numbered head together is a cooperative learning strategy. Why? Because activity specification is provided by the faculty. Students are following that activity specification in numbered head together technique. But at the end of that session, when the teacher is asking question to the group of the student, asking question to the team of the student, and students are not able to reply, students are not able to respond to that particular statement. So by the use of that cooperative learning strategy also, it is possible for me to know that whether the team of the student is ready with that particular content matter or not. When I'm using collaborative learning strategies, say for example, you have given a project based exercise to your student, but in the final round of that activity, when the students are presenting information and you are asking question to the group of the students related to that activity, maybe one or two students are not ready with the information. So again, with the help of that collaborative learning strategy, it is known to the teacher that within the group also the students are not able to prepare that kind of information. Maybe one or two students are not able to put 100% of the effort for the completion of that particular project activity. So depends upon what kind of teaching strategy adopted by the teachers. In different teaching strategies, there are different phases under which the teacher can collect information regarding the performance of the student. Another is a performance test. So when I said performance test means whatever summative evaluation criteria we have finalized for our student, that summative evaluation criteria provided us a clear picture about the level of understanding of the student. Say, for example, I want to share my personal experience over here. In a final examination of research methodology, master's level QIP students, QIP means the student who was sponsored by their organization. Those students in a final test, they are saying that paper is out of syllabus, and those students are for masters of engineering. So when I said a master of engineering level student provided such kind of statement that paper is out of syllabus, this is not the way the content was delivered to us, that is not accepted by the system. Master level student means information is provided to all of you. No, maybe some of the applications was not dealt in a class. As a teacher, you need, as a student, you need to prepare for that particular application. So when we said performance test, whenever we are designing test for our student, we consider the level of our student. Maybe for a bachelor level student for the same subject, the paper is just simple by nature. But for a master's level or for PhD coursework level student, the paper need to have some sort of difficulty, because we are assessing the performance of a more matured learner. We are assessing the performance of an experienced learner. So why it is said performance test? Performance test means based on the level of your learner, you are going to design tests. Those tests are basically for the summative evaluation purposes that provide a clear picture of your teaching effectiveness along with the level that need to be performed by the student in that particular test. So these are some of the parameters. There are many things in a laboratory class also. It is possible for me to collect information regarding the performance of the student. So by this means, it is possible for us to gather information. Now, as a faculty, as a department, we need to decide that how, for an assessment purposes, we are going to collect information. So as per my opinion, when somebody said it is possible for me to collect information by the use of assignment, it is a hint to me that assignment that is being designed by the faculty maybe have some sort of unique statements or application based assignments are there. That is why the faculty is saying it is possible for me to gather information. If you are giving statement like define something, explain something, discuss about, write a working principle, provide a label diagram, that kind of information is already available with the student. The students are just copy pasting the information and providing it to the faculty. So that kind of assignment doesn't help me to assess the performance level of my student. The students are just repeating the activity, repeating the content again and again. The purpose is, as a faculty, purpose of discussion is, as a faculty, as a department, you need to decide that what kind of activities need to be there to collect performance related information of the student. Otherwise, it is a question to the faculty, question on the feedback of the faculty, that why the students are not able to get good score. So the kind of students you have, the level of the students at your departmental level, based on that only, the department is going to design the evaluation criteria. So by considering all these practical aspects only, the department is able to design internal evaluation criteria. So the next thing that we need to consider before designing rubric is evaluation. I think in the first session, it is clear to all of you that what we mean by evaluation. Yes, any member from the group?
Yes,
I hope
ma'am.
this
It is.
concept
It
is
is clear.
already clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So the basic difference between assessment and evaluation is, by the use of evaluation, we are making certain judgments. And based on the information from the evaluation strategies, it is possible for us to design some criteria. It is possible for us to design some sort of information for our department purposes. So why we carry evaluation and why there is a judgment related to this particular criteria? So when I said assessment, assessment is basically your routine class activity where you want to collect information regarding the understanding level of the student. But when I said with the help of evaluation, we are making certain kind of judgments. It means, say for example, your CSC branch students are divided into two different classes, CSC 1 and CSC 2. Since the number of admission rate in CSC branch is very high, so maybe 120 students initially enrolled at the department, and the department decided that we need to divide the student into two different sections, CSC 1 and CSC 2. So there is a same kind of student. When I said same kind of student means the admission criteria for all the students were same. So more or less the aptitude ability of the students need to be similar in both the sections. The curriculum is same, the same subject nature is there, the same content is being given to the student, but maybe two different faculty members are teaching the same subject to the two different sections of CSC. So after the evaluation, after say after internal test 1, at a departmental level, when you consolidate information, you come to know that CSC 1 students are able to score more than 80% of the marks in MST 1, but CSC 2 students are not able to get even 60% of the marks in that particular subject. Now, at a department, you need to consider this particular situation very seriously. When we said student admission rate is same, the content is same, curriculum is same, two different faculty members are teaching that particular subject, maybe the evaluation criteria decided by both the faculty members vary. So one faculty have different kind of expectations from the student, another faculty maybe have some different kind of expectation from the student. So when they are evaluating the answer script of the student, it will provide you a clear picture that what kind of evaluation criteria utilized by those faculty members. Maybe one teacher is very good when it comes to consider when it comes to plan for the instruction or deliver the instructions to the student, but another faculty is not experienced enough. Even if that faculty is experienced enough, that faculty is not able to fulfill the expectations of that particular class. That faculty is not able to know what kind of diversity is available in my class. So experience is not a criteria. Based on the kind of the students you have in your class, you need to plan for the instructions. And if as a faculty I am able to deliver the instructions more effectively, it is possible for my students to pass that evaluation criteria. Here, I am not talking about your external examination. I am giving an example related to your internal evaluation parameter. If for the same admission criteria, your internal evaluation parameter or scores vary, it is a clear hint to the student, it is a clear hint to the department that somewhere you need to investigate that why such kind of differences are there. Maybe we need to change the faculty, maybe we need to have a standard kind of evaluation criteria that must be followed by the two different faculty members who are teaching those classes. So evaluation help us to make judgments. So those judgments may be related to the instructional planning and instructional delivery. Those judgments may be related to the instructional material that is being given to the student. Maybe and question paper vetting committee need to be there at department, that what kind of questions are being framed by the faculty and how those questions are framed, on what basis. Is the content already being delivered by the faculty in a class? If not, when the teacher is delivering information to the student, is this kind of information highlighted in a class? So these kind of decisions can be made only on the basis of an evaluation. So when we said that we are able to make judgments by the use of evaluation, so basically we judge our student on the basis of certain measurement. So when in a classroom you said he got 60 marks out of 100, what judgment you make? So based on the marks only, we can say that student may be in an excellent category, maybe the student is in an average category, or maybe that particular student needs improvement. On what basis we are making judgment? The total score that is being obtained by the student. So a measurement means process of obtaining a numerical description to the degree to which an individual possesses a particular characteristics. So I'm not going into the detail of measurement because this particular content is covered in the first session of your day 4. So when I said measurement based on the individual possesses a particular characteristics. So as a teacher, when I'm designing any kind of evaluation tool for my students, I need to know the characteristics that are available in my class. So my next question to all of you is, as per your opinion or as per the feedback collected by all of you, how many students in your class belongs to excellent category? Kindly provide me the number. Maybe you have a class of 60 or say 70 students. How many students you consider are in an excellent category? Almost 20%. Okay. In good category? Good category 10%, excellent category 20%. Okay.
I guess it's reverse, ma'am. 20 excellent and sorry, 10 excellent and 20 good.
Okay.
Then
In
comes
an
the
average
average.
category?
Yes, ma'am.
In average category?
I guess major of the percentage belongs to the average category.
And needs improvement?
Again, 10-15%, you can
10,
say.
15%. So basically, this is the characteristics that are available in your class. So when I said when an individual possesses characteristics, these characteristics are related not only to their emotion, intelligence level, but also the ability of the student to work in group, ability of the student to work in team. So why we are considering that not only the intelligence quotient of the student, or we can say aptitude ability of the student matters a lot, but when we talk about technical education system, and mostly 40% of the content in any engineering degree is related to the practical activities only, where we divide our student into teams and groups, and student need to perform certain activities. So it is not only the aptitude ability of the student we are focusing upon, but at the same time, the ability of the student to work in a team, to work in a group, and to develop better interpersonal relationship with other students. So these are the characteristics that we need to focus whenever it comes to design and evaluation criteria. Means you need to evaluate, you need to assess that what level of students are there. So maybe at NITR Chandigarh, when I said excellence level, excellence may have different kind of dimension for me, because we have students either from the master's level or from for the PhD coursework. We don't have diploma or other engineering branches as far as bachelor degree is concerned. So for us, excellence level may be different. But at your institute, when we said particular characteristics of that student population, your excellence may have a different kind of dimension. So as a faculty in a department, you need to consider that what are the